So if you want to get into graduate school in the sciences, the number one thing that you need to do is get research experience while you're in your undergrad. And it'll be by far the most valuable thing that you can put on your graduate school applications to give you the highest chance of getting into the graduate program of your choice. So how do you go about getting this super important research experience? That is what I'm going to cover today. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Alicia, and I have a master's in biology and a PhD in ecology. And I also have a background in teaching, mentorship, and helping students with their career development. On this channel, I really want to help you figure out your ideal career path so that you can ultimately lead a happy, fulfilling, and purposeful life. So when it comes to undergraduate research experience, I worked with dozens of undergraduates during my PhD and with several students during my master's as well. So I have a lot of experience with recruiting students, and so I have an idea of how I got those students and how some of my peers recruited undergraduates to help them with their research. And then also when I was in college, I also had several different research experiences myself that I was able to acquire. And so I'm hoping that I can give you some of that knowledge today and kind of walk you through some different ways that you can find research opportunities at your institution. So I have a list here of several different ways that you can seek an opportunity, but these are things that you can look into as options for trying to find research experiences at your institution. So one option is to look for part-time jobs on campus that are being advertised that are in research labs. I will say that this is going to be a little bit harder because there's not going to be a ton of these opportunities usually available to you, and they're going to be harder to get if you don't have any research experience when you apply. So those are going to probably go to students that already kind of have a background with doing research, but it is an option and something to look into, especially once you do start gaining some research experience. So, wherever they kind of post jobs on campus, there might be some research positions posted that you could apply for. So that's one option. If you have financial constraints and you have to work through college, ideally if you could work and get research experience at the same time, that's going to be awesome and ideal for you. But unfortunately, most undergraduate research experiences are unpaid. That's something you should be prepared for, is doing research essentially for free. Although you can usually get course credit, so you can kind of maybe not take as many classes in a given semester and have some of your credits count towards research. So that's going to be the main way that I have experienced compensating students for their time, is giving them course credit. And so assuming you're not able to get a part-time job working in a lab and doing research, another option for looking for positions is on bulletin boards. And so this could be virtual bulletin boards or physical bulletin boards. You can look on departmental websites. They might have things posted on their web pages. And then also usually I see physical bulletin boards, especially near the main offices of the different departments. Usually outside of those offices, or maybe just inside, there's usually some kind of bulletin board with a ton of different stuff, actually pinned to it. There might be tutoring and other things, but oftentimes there might also be research opportunities being advertised on those bulletin boards. I've also seen things like summer field research experiences that you could potentially pay for over the summer. Sometimes those are also posted on those bulletin boards. So that's another place to look for research opportunities. A third way to get research experience is by being on, or find out about research experiences, is to be on different listservs. So this is the way that I got probably 90% of my undergraduates that worked with me during my PhD, is that I would send out an email advertisement for undergraduate research assistantships, and I would send that email to different departments that had students majoring in a subject that was related to my research, or I would email it to several student organizations, student clubs that were related to my topic, and then I would ask them to kind of send it out to their email lists. And so you want to make sure that you're on those email lists to get those types of emails. That was the way that I typically recruited students is through these listservs. And I would get, tons of emails flooding in with applications, and then I'd go through those and interview a select number of students before deciding on who to have join me in my work. So yeah, get on those listservs, get part of those student organizations so that you can get notified of those types of opportunities. Another way to get research experience during your undergraduate is to do kind of independent study or take particular courses that have a research component to them. This is one of the ways that I got really significant research experience during my undergraduate. So I majored in ecology when I was in college, and part of my major actually had a requirement to do a field semester where I had to do field research and conduct 2 research projects over the course of the semester. And that's like all I did. That was the entire semester, was just this course, learning how to do research. And so that was really, really awesome experience. And it gave me like a really in-depth understanding of how to do research. And so look and see if you have any kind of courses like that are offered, or, it could be, more of a general upper division course that has a really strong research project aspect of the course. That can be really useful to kind of start getting some of those skills, and then kind of harness that when you do apply to, research experiences in labs and things like that. Oftentimes things like the honors programs or certain majors have senior theses requirements. And so there's going to be an opportunity there to potentially also do independent research. So the last way to kind of find research opportunities, and this requires a little bit more work and effort on your part, but I think it's also one of the best and most effective ways to get a research opportunity, is to directly contact and ask professors and graduate students if they need undergraduate researchers. Usually this is going to involve like cold emailing a professor or a graduate student, which I know can maybe be a little intimidating, but I promise you it's very normal, and it's a great way to show that you have initiative and that you're really interested. And I mentioned that most of my undergraduates that helped me with my research, I recruited them through these listservs, but there were also a subset of students that I worked with that contacted either me directly or contacted my graduate advisor, who then forwarded those emails to me. And those students almost always got a position. I usually prioritized those students over the students that were applying through the listserv route, just because they showed that initiative, right? And they showed a clear interest in exactly what I'm studying, and went out of their way to seek me out, versus, the students that are just kind of applying to every advertisement that's coming their way because they just really want research experience, which isn't a bad thing, right? But from my perspective, from the perspective of whoever you want to work with, it's going to hold a little bit more weight if they come and seek you out all on their own. They're going to be more excited to work with you and more excited to give you that experience. And it's also beneficial because, you're taking a more active role in finding something that you're genuinely interested in. Some of the advertisements that come your way, they might not be in areas that you are necessarily interested in. Professors and grad students might be that you are interested in working with. They might be advertising in a way that you're not aware of. You don't want to miss those opportunities. And so by going out and finding a topic you're interested in and finding out who studies that, and then just directly contacting those people, even if they are not actively advertising that semester, usually there's something that they can find for you to do. Honestly, there's always like an endless amount of data and stuff that you could be doing. And so even if they weren't planning to recruit undergraduates, if they get an undergraduate that comes to them and is persistent and like really excited, like if it was me, I'd be inclined to find something for them to do and help them become part of our lab, maybe start inviting them to lab meetings. And so it's a really good way to get your foot in the door of a lab, is just directly contacting professors and graduate students. Right. So you know you need to contact these professors and graduate students. Maybe you already know them because you took a course with them. You've gone to their office hours. You already have this relationship developed with them. But maybe you don't. Maybe you have no idea where to start to even find someone you'd be interested in working with, let alone what to write in an email to them. So watch my next video because I'm going to go over how to find those professors and graduate students and exactly what you should include in your emails.